I'm being joined by the Director of Strategic Communications of the Bola Tinubu Shetima APC Presidential Campaign Council, Mr. Dele Alake. Thank you so much indeed for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me, but let me correct the title.
The title.
It's been mixed up severally.
There's been a lot of titles recently. No?
Mohammed Idris is the Director of Communications.
Oh, really?
Yes, Strategic Communications. I'm the Special Advisor on Media, Communications, Public Affairs.
Interesting.
Right.
Oh, so it's good to see you. How's it going with your campaign?
Very, very well. You know, we wound up the rallies 2 days back in Lagos. And today we're winding up all campaigns just to follow the laid down regulations. By midnight tonight, there will be no more. I have actually issued a statement to that effect. No more advertorials, commercials, jingles, whatever, from our camp from midnight tonight to follow the laid down rules and regulations.
That's what the law says.
Yes,
so,
yes. But it's been very exhilarating campaign so far.
Yeah.
Very exciting. And it's a familiar terrain to us, so there are no surprises. And we've been quite elated at the enthusiastic reception that our candidate has received all over the country. And I'm sure you and all Nigerians will see and attest to the fact of the tumultuous crowd that attended his rallies everywhere. You saw the grand finale in Lagos. I mean, there has been nothing, no party has ever evinced such animation, natural animation from the people. And, it was just too exciting. It was interesting to watch them lining the route from Ikeja Airport all the way to the stadium, Surulere Stadium. In fact, personally, I've been involved as a participant observer in campaigns and elections in this country in the last 40 years. I haven't seen that kind of crowd lining the route. I mean, enthusiastically, naturally, from Ikeja Airport to the... You know how many kilometers that's...
Yeah, but Tinubu is not seeking votes alone in Lagos State. I mean, he's looking for votes across the country.
Right.
And statutorily is what the law says. He needs to win 24 states.
Correct.
And the FCT.
Correct.
So, in that sense, has the campaign given you that confidence to say, with all of what we have seen, you are home and dry?
That's what I just said. That everywhere he went, or we went for the rallies, in every part of this country, the reception has been exhilarating. It's been inviting. It's been invigorating. It's been interesting.
Just by the look of the crowd.
Believe you me, not just by the look. Don't forget that after each rally, he will go into meetings with either the traditional rulers, the opinion leaders, religious leaders, all the stakeholders in the states that we went, everywhere. He had interactive sessions with all of these people, and everywhere we came to the conclusion that he's a man to beat. He's taking the trophy.
So there are a few issues in this campaign which a lot of Nigerians watch, and millions of them tonight will perhaps, you are perhaps by so many reasons, you are one of the closest person to Bola Tinubu, and they will probably need some clarity and convincing tonight. Some of the people that I've spoken with tonight had put a question mark on the fitness of your candidate. What do you have to say to that?
Thank you very much for that question. I always say in my submissions, whether at lectures, symposia, analysis and interviews, that we must have the capacity to analyze situations. And as media folks, we don't just assume or receive information and then dish it out without analyzing it. Now, if you analyze the campaign since September when it started, empirically speaking, there's no candidate that has traversed the length and breadth of Nigeria as much as Tinubu, not half as much as Tinubu. There is no candidate that has gone into interactive sessions, the town hall meetings that others copied. Tinubu initiated it with the famous Lagos town hall meeting at a hotel with the business, the organized private sector. That was the first town hall meeting by any candidate in this campaign season. He initiated it at a hotel. And subsequently, he has done 15 across the country, across a broad strata of society, civil society, farmers, miners, agri people, all kinds of labor unions. He has interacted with all of these people, and he has gone everywhere. No candidate, if we are honest with ourselves, no candidate has worked half as hard as Bola Tinubu in this campaign season. Now, can anybody who doesn't have a good health do that? Can anybody with some kind of ailment put himself through that punishing schedule, all through, without let or hindrance, campaigning back to back on a daily basis, and interacting with people, with different stakeholders in this society? How can anybody?
Why do your opponents believe that your candidate is not fit?
That's propaganda. You call a dog a bad name to hang it, because, again, they have nothing, no issues, no germane issues to argue with Bola Tinubu. Now, when you know that you don't have any serious issue of substance to discuss in this campaign, you resort to the gutter snipe, you resort to negativity, you resort to invectives and expletives, because there's no substance. They don't have substance. Atiku doesn't have substance. Obi does not have substance. Obi is one of the flukes thrown up by this campaign. Look, Obi has never answered a question in a straightforward manner. He goes in a circumlocuous manner, gerrymandering, and at the end of the day, it's all smoke. It ends up in smoke, no substance, nothing concrete you can bring out of it. He spews up all kinds of inanities in terms of statistics, false statistics. At the end of the day, they all end up as flashes in the pan. Now, Atiku has been one of the most consistently inconsistent politicians that this Nigeria has ever witnessed. Since 1993, Atiku has been a serial loser in this game. And he has been in the PDP, he jumped ship, he was provided a platform by this same Asiwaju Tinubu in 2006, 2007. I wasn't told, I was there. I was a participant observer in that process. Atiku came to AC/ACN, then jumped back to PDP when his ambition wasn't realized there. And then when he saw that his ambition also failed to be realized in PDP, jumped ship again to APC. And then when he couldn't clinch the ticket in APC, jumped back to, oh, come on. Come on.
Your opponents will easily say.
The same thing with Obi. Yeah. He was in ABGA, jumped to PDP. When he couldn't, then bought the ticket.
Does that take away the capacity of them running the affairs of this country?
It does, in a sense. Look, one of the attributes of good progressive leadership anywhere in the world is vision, knowledge, and courage. These three critical attributes, Asiwaju has them. These other three don't. And consistency is a factor of courage or boldness. Whether the situation suits you or not, if you are consistent, it shows a strength of character, which they don't have. So it takes a lot away from their capacity to rule this country.
When you say this, Mr. Alake, easily your opponent will pick holes in whatever you have said, and they have said it severally, that your candidate and your principal is a man who said he's had an eternal dream of wanting to be president of this country.
Is that a crime?
And you are
having a dream. Is that a crime?
No, you speaking
Even
about
Martin Luther King had a dream that one day the black man will be liberated in the U.S. And it came to pass when Obama became president of the U.S.
Is that some kind of fiction?
Having a dream is not a crime.
But
it is when you give it a negative connotation, depending on your political perspective, that you then turn it into a negative thing. It's not a crime.
So is that a fixation?
No.
And it comes to the question of when
again,
he said
that is
popular
a negative connotation of dreaming. Having a dream is different from having a fixation. Now, when you have a fixation, go and look at the definition of it. If you have a fixation on something that is positive, you could have a fixation to correct the ills of this country. That's not necessarily a crime, nor negative. It's when you have a fixation on something negative that you can then begin to question the motive and the rationale for that. But having a fixation or a dream to be president of this country, to write when you know that you have what it takes to really take the country, extricate it from the quagmire, as it were, that's not a negative
So it's a
dream.
must for Tinubu to be president of this country.
Oh, why should it be a must?
That's what I'm asking.
You said a
Is
dream.
it a fixation?
And I said a dream is not necessarily a crime, nor negative. So a fixation can also be a positive fixation.
Where we are coming from was the point where you said Atiku Abubakar has been jumping.
Yeah,
perhaps
that is inconsistent.
That's probably a dream.
Even in this last currency issue, he has shown himself as inconsistent. And you know it. Nigerians know it. There's no point arguing that. It's a fact.
Let me allow you to be able to respond, because this is a very good opportunity for you to be able to deal with a lot of issues that have been brought up, not only tonight, but severally. In fact, one of the guests tonight is at peak old in part of fitness, who said cognitively that they do not trust your candidate and your principal, that in fact, at some point in the rally, there was a national anthem being sung, and your candidate raised his both hands up, raising his walking stick and raised it up. I mean, how do you explain those kind of situation?
Right.
Because these are issues that are out there anyways, and they have also raised question about some of what they have described as a faux pas of some mistakes that have been made by your candidate. How do you describe it, or how do you respond to it?
Every human being, no human being is infallible, including you and I. We also make our own slips. You make your own slips. I make mine. And you are not his age. You are not at his status. You don't go through the kind of schedule that he goes through. Atiku has been seen making gaffes and faux pas severally. Obi, who claims to be the symbol of the youth, has been seen making gaffes. And in fact, I just said, spewing out false statistics and inanities, and being very verbose and nebulous in responses. So having a gaffe here and now and then is also common to all leaders. It's not peculiar to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. However, anything that pertains to Tinubu, because he's the man to beat, it is taken out of proportion. It is exaggerated. It's overblown. Now, there's, in my part of the country where I come from, there's an adage that says that it is only the tree that is full of fruits that people throw stones at. You never see people throwing stones at a dry tree without fruits. It's because Asiwaju is the man to beat, is the front runner, and all the others are throwing stones at him. They exaggerate whatever it is that is associated with Asiwaju, whereas all others have the same or worse gaffes, faux pas, or errors.
The question.
So there's no big deal about that. That does not, look, when you want to know a man's capacity, it is not the fact that he makes a slip that is human, like everybody else. You have to look at a man who says he wants to be president. We want to see where he's coming from. When he had the opportunity to be in public office, what did he do? What were the enduring legacies and structures that he put in place that people can point at today? Obi was governor too for 8 years. Asiwaju was governor too for 8 years. I do not see a mass of people rushing from Lagos to go and live in Anambra. Whereas the reverse is the opposite. I mean, it's the situation. People rush from Alhambra to come and live in Lagos. If Lagos were not to be made so conducive, that won't happen. Where did Obi hold his own grand finale rally? Did he hold it in Anambra? He held it in Lagos. Asiwaju held his own in Lagos. Atiku held his own in Adamawa. Obi held his own in Lagos. Why didn't he hold it in Anambra? If he performed and left enduring legacies that will be a testament to his capacity and capabilities to
Alright.
go higher.
Mr.
So
Alake.
these are issues that should be put in the front burner, not inanities, mundane, ridiculous, issues that don't have any direct impact on the capacity and the track record of those who want to be our president or our leader.
We're due for a break, and perhaps one of the questions or the crux of the question is because here on this platform, on this channel, we're known for staying on the issues and we deal with the meat of the matter. The question is, if you talked about Bola Tinubu and his track record, how much of the trust can Nigerians give him now? So we'll come back from the break and we'll hear more from Mr. Dele Alake. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's continue our conversation with Mr. Dele Alake. I'll take you to 79 and 83 elections. And I think it was Dele Momodu, or who was it, that was positing that anytime there is being two strong southern candidates against a very strong northern candidate, that the northern candidate usually come out victorious. In your press conference yesterday, you said there was no pathway for Obi to win this election.
True.
Looks like you're underrating the man.
I'm not underrating Obi. I have studied Obi and his system, as it were, and I've seen that it's a total roller coaster con game. There's no substance to Obi. Obi has, I give this to him, successfully cashed in on the anger of the youth against the establishment. He cashed in on it simply because the youth, largely the uninformed segment of the youth, because not all the members of the youth class that are uninformed. There are quite a number of very well-informed members, and they know, and they have analytical capacity, and they do backgrounding. Now, when you do all of this, you know that Obi is not there. That's why I said in that press conference that there's no pathway to victory. Now, the 79-83 that you said Momodu referred to, that doesn't hold water here at all. In 79, we had the UPN dominating the West.
Yeah, the MPN,
in the north, and then
MPP in
the east, then, as it were. Because we didn't really have these six geopolitical structure at that time. It was like 3-4 at that time. So this is not the situation today. Now, today, you have 6 geopolitical zones, and then you have 3 major candidates. That's Asiwaju Tinubu, Atiku, and Obi.
What about Kwankwaso?
Kwankwaso is not major in my books because he's only influential around the old Kano zone. The old Kano zone now comprising Kano and Jigawa. Now, take him out of there, is on tenterhooks.
And he said that anybody who underrates him will be ready for the shocker.
Any politician can say anything anyway.
Are you ready for a possible shocker?
We are analysts, so we don't go by what they say. We analyze.
Are you preparing for a possibility of a surprise in this race?
Well, the surprise will be to Obi and Atiku, not to us, because we are winning. Asiwaju will win, and that will surprise Obi and Atiku.
What would be the pathway for Tinubu's win?
Thank you very much. Like I said earlier on, when you want to come to lead a people, the people must have the presence of mind to look at your past. It is the past that will give people informed judgment on why they should trust you with their future. Now, if you have not really shown up any concrete evidence of good governance, of laying enduring structures where you had an exposure into public office, how do you expect people to trust you with their future? Now, Asiwaju has amply demonstrated beyond all reasonable doubt that he has the wand to remove Nigeria. Now, first of all, ab initio, this very democracy that we are practicing, that everybody has taken for granted, that Obi and Atiku have taken for granted. Who among the present presidential candidates fought for this democracy with everything? It's Asiwaju Tinubu. He struggled and was hounded, harassed. His house was firebombed and was hounded into exile and was funding the Nadeko. Let me land on this. So he has paid his dues in terms of the political struggle to enthrone this democracy. That's a factor. Now, two, in terms of deepening and nurturing this democracy, is it Atiku? Where was Atiku during the struggle for the enthronement of this democracy? He was hands in gloves with the Abacha, 5 fingers of a leprous hand, the Abacha parties. He was there. Two, where was Obi? Obi was busy importing toothpick and orange juice into Nigeria during the struggle. Now they are taking part in it, thanks to the struggle of likes of Asiwaju. Number two, when you want to deepen this democracy, none of them has the knowledge. Obi was governor for 8 years. For 7 years, 10 months, he never conducted local government elections, which in itself is an impeachable offense.
Right.
Asiwaju conducted 3 local government elections in 8 years, and not only that, he deepened democracy by establishing 37 extra local governments. What did Atiku
we need to run.
What's his contribution
we're totally
to
out of time,
democracy
Mr.
and governance?
I mean, there's something that is unfair, which I just wish if you can do this in 10 seconds. Should Tinubu lose this election, what do you think would have been the cause?
Tinubu is, amongst all the contestants, is the most demonstrable, committed Democrat. He has demonstrated that with the struggle to actualize democracy. He has demonstrated that in governance by deepening democracy. He has demonstrated that by even welding together affiliates to become the first major party that would unseat an incumbent government in the history of this country, thanks to Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Mr. Dele,
so therefore, there is no question of his losing.
You are terribly confident about this.
Yes,
we'll see about that on Monday.
Yes, I am.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dele Alake, for joining us tonight.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
so much.